Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Loud House Season 2, Episodes 8 through 9. We're only doing 2 episodes this week, just because since we did have the shorter week this week due to the holidays and everything, I wasn't able to pre-record ahead of time, and now it's Saturday night. My dad and sister went off to a concert, which was my dad's Christmas present and all, and so it's like I have to use this time to record and everything. And so I have to do this, I have to do She-Ra, all of this junk. And it's like, I just don't have time to do more than 2. So, yeah. But we are doing 2 episodes. And yeah, so far Season 2 of Loud House has been good. But I would say it's probably been just maybe a tiny smidge more interesting than Season 1. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because of the higher focus on the parents. In the first season, the parents were definitely more of a just background role. But now they've become a lot more, again, focused on, a lot more of a thing. And I can appreciate that because I feel like it makes just the family in general feel more full. Now, I'm still hoping that some of these episodes do focus more on the sisters and less or not even at all on Lincoln. I think that that is the one big thing holding the series back right now. I do think that Lincoln needs to, as a character, take a step back. Yeah, I know that the series began basically as the story is him telling about what his life with his sisters is like. I get that. But there is a such thing as improving on a show. You could take a show starting off in one direction and take it into a completely different direction, but still make it feel like the same show and make it work in an excellent way. A great example of this would be Steven Universe. Steven Universe's first season, let's be honest, most of it was silly random crap. And yes, a lot of it did end up building up characters that we've come to love, building up a lot of plot points that would come into play later, but there was a lot of filler stuff as well, and a lot of stuff that just wasn't as good, stuff that was way too silly, way too ridiculous. The first episode of the show was focused on Steven's obsession with a cat-shaped ice cream sandwich. And the show is currently at a point where we have intergalactic war, genocide, Steven having existential crises, or I think crises is the right word, stuff like that, and it's like, it's not the show it used to be, but it feels like it was progressed naturally to get to this point, and I think, I obviously don't think Loud House will ever, like, reach that kind of, level as, Steven Universe, and I don't expect it to, but it definitely needs to progress in a way. It definitely needs to go somewhere. Right now, they're definitely making progress by having the parents be a bigger focus, by finally revealing their faces and getting to see them just have a bigger role in the overall series. They're making that a very valid and proper part of the story now. And that's good. We needed that. The parents, we needed the parents to be more involved in things. But now we just need Lincoln to become less involved. And I'm not saying get rid of him altogether. No, not at all. MLP gives a perfect example of what to do. Twilight started out in season 1 of MLP as the main character, to the point where every episode had to involve her somehow, even where it honestly felt like she was being shoehorned into most of the episodes and storylines. She didn't feel like she belonged. Season 2 really started to understand that and made it so that she didn't need to be in every episode, and she wasn't. And as the series kept progressing, she stopped being in every episode. She stopped being as focused on. She stopped being as heavily, like, thrust down our throats. She became less of a, um, less of a forced main character and more of a legitimate main character. To the point where, yes, the story is still mostly revolved around her, but we can have episodes that don't even have her in it at all. They have just like Pinky and Fluttershy or whatever else, just as an example, you know. And I think we should be doing that with Loud House, because these sisters, they're being held back so much by the fact that everything has to revolve around Lincoln. If we focus more on the sisters themselves, they'll be allowed to grow as characters and be a lot more just exciting to watch. Whether it be Luna, Lenny, Lola, Lucy, doesn't matter. They'll be so much better as characters if we actually give them the opportunity to shine on their own. So, yeah. I just really feel that this show is heading in the right direction, but it needs to keep heading there. And I think the next big step is definitely, as I said, cutting Lincoln out a little bit more. Not completely, not even like most of it. He should still be the main character, and it should still make a point of that. But have the sisters have their own episodes where they're the focus. Have the sisters do things and have us be able to see them doing these things without the need for Lincoln being sort of our catalyst into these lives. I want to see Lenny and Lori just hanging out at the mall. Maybe show Lincoln once or twice, kind of as a side character, but have it actually focus around what they're doing. I want to see Lucy struggling with her love for the vampire dude. I can't think of his name. Is it Edwin or something like that? I think it might be Edwin, because I think it's kind of supposed to be like a rip on Edward from Twilight. I want to see the twins having their own little adventure and maybe their own little arguments and fights that Lincoln isn't the one who has to solve. I just want to see the sisters being the focus, you know? Now, I know that this series does go places. I knew about the parents' faces being revealed before it happened, I just didn't know when it happened. I know that Luna, it is revealed that she has a crush on her classmate Sam. I don't know when it happens, but I do know that that is a thing, and I believe it's season 2. Because I believe season 2 was still going when that was made a big deal out of online and everything. But I know that's a thing. And I do know about, I guess, what recently happened in season 3 with Luna having that big song, which is an amazing song. I have heard the song. I mentioned that before when I first was bringing back Loud House. So yeah, I do know some things. I don't know the context behind them. I don't know how they happen. But I know that this series is going to get a lot better, and I can see how it's going to. I can see the roots that have been planted in order to grow this series. And it's just like, I'm just waiting for it to make these changes. And again, it's already started, but it needs to continue. It can't stop now, and I don't want it to stagnate now either. I don't want it to have like 10 or so episodes of it just being completely stagnant while we wait for anything more to happen. They really need to make some changes, and this show has a lot going for it already. I mean, even before Luna is revealed to be bi, we have Clyde having 2 fathers. That's extremely progressive and amazing for today's animation industry. And I just really feel like we have so many more possibilities that we could be working towards. So I just... I just really feel like this could go so many places, and I really want to see it succeed. But we're going to get started. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts, and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so, yeah, someone pulled in, and I was thinking it was my brother coming home, because he's been gone all day, and they pulled in quite a bit away, too, so I think it was him being driven back, but I think they probably, I guess he wanted to go somewhere else, so they had to leave again. There was definitely someone who was actually here, though. That much I can say for sure. I assume it was him, and he just left again, but I guess I don't know for sure. Either way, so, these episodes were interesting, and I mentioned during my pre-thoughts that I really wanted the show to start... Oh, I guess they are here now. Oh yeah, they pulled in again. So he's coming in, just, So I wanted this show to start doing a lot more and going a lot further with its, progression with the story and everything. And I mentioned I wanted it to stop, focusing on Lincoln as much, and kind of focus more on the other characters. And the first episode here kind of did. I'd say it was actually more focused on the father, on Lynn Sr., than anyone else. All the kids were in it. Rita was in it, but Lynn was definitely more of the focus of the episode. And Lincoln kind of fell more into the supporting cast with his sisters and with Rita. And I can appreciate that. It didn't feel like it was fully going in that direction yet, but it's starting to make that transition, I feel. And that's what I could hope for. The episode was fun. I like the fact that Lynn Sr. is obsessed with them locking the door when they're home alone and everything. And I get why. It's a nice reason. He wants them to be safe and everything. But it's like apparently their town is actually really safe, and it's not even super necessary. Plus, it's been made very clear that they can take care of themselves, let's be honest. We saw that just in how they were setting up their homemade security systems. They can definitely take care of themselves. But then we had the second episode, which definitely focused more on Lincoln again, and this time with him trying to preserve or recreate his preserved memories that he accidentally deleted. And it's like, I get the concept of this one too, but this one, I don't know, it wasn't bad, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know, maybe it's because I've seen this kind of thing before, this kind of plot in other shows or whatnot, but it's like, oh, he accidentally deletes all of his memories. There's no cloud storage. I like that they brought that up, though. The idea of that. There's no cloud storage, so he has to recreate all these different photos. It's like, yeah, this kind of thing's been done before, and honestly better. It wasn't bad, but it didn't really... It didn't really do anything worthwhile, I'd say. I guess that's a way to put it. I just feel like the episode overall was just kind of okay. It was just okay. There were some good jokes in these, though. There were some fun moments. Again, I did like how the first episode of these two did start to move away from Lincoln as the focus and focused more on the dad and how his mind is working about all of this. The fact that he even went as far as to hire their neighbor to fake being robbed just to try and teach the kids a lesson. It shows how much he does care about his kids. which, I mean, we already kind of understood. But it's developing him in a really fun way, in a really meaningful way that makes him feel, once again, more like an actual character than just someone in the background. And that's something I'm glad that they're doing with this season, bringing the parents more into the foreground. So yeah, I do really appreciate that. And so this is definitely going with what I was saying in my pre-thoughts. I wanted this to continue to show the progression that we saw in these first few episodes, and it has been. It's not, again, it's taking it slowly, and I wish it would go a little faster, but it's still doing something. And that's as much as I can hope for right now. At least it's doing something with it. I'm only hoping it gets better from here. But in the meantime, tell me what you thought of these 2 episodes of Loud House Season 2. And tell me what you thought of the reaction in general and all. Once again, as always, no spoilers for the future. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live, love, laugh.